Hey everyone, welcome to the Breaking It Downs podcast. I am your host, Julie Downs, joined by my husband and co-host, Greg. And Greg, we're kicking it off with a triple header on Saturday. And hopefully these games are a little better than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, complete snooze fest.
For sure.
The two NFL games on Christmas Day, thought Pittsburgh would play better. They were awful. Baltimore trounced Houston. Houston looked worse than my G-men. Then the Thursday night thriller, 6-3 Seattle. Some games you can make a case that, the defense played well. No, it was an aptitude on both. The game was terrible. Yeah, let's get to better football.
All right.
And with that being said, in the immortal words of Vincent Terranova, what do we got?
What do we got? Well, without further ado, we'll kick it off with the LA Chargers. They are 6-point favorites over my New England Patriots.
So, Chargers, they can clinch a playoff spot with a win, which is obviously the most important factor in this game. Great comeback win versus Denver. They're down double digits. Talked about the free kick, which is pretty cool. Herbert played great. J.K. Dobbins will be back. He's their lead running back, which they do need. Gus Edwards is now out, but Dobbins back. Big depth factor. Herbert McConkey becoming a thing. Very good thing.
Okay.
Excellent D all year. Probably make it a little difficult for Drake May, but say what you want. The Pats and May, they almost won at Buffalo last week. They took Buffalo to the wire, legit. Offense is looking better. They're playing hard. That's where we stand heading into Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I don't think the Pats are getting enough respect. I think that line's a little too high. I'm going to take my Pats to cover and the Chargers to win.
Yeah, I'll agree with you here. I think from a betting perspective, I would be shocked if the Chargers lost. So if you take them in a money line and a teaser, but I do agree. I don't see any reason why New England doesn't at least play hard. They cover Chargers. All
right. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. They are 3.5-point favorites over Denver.
So Cincy still technically alive. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Beat Cleveland last week. Ugly affair. The score wasn't actually, they actually weren't great, but Burrow to Chase has been the best combo in football. Look, T. Higgins is questionable. Looks like he's going to play. I think what's gone underrated, Chase Brown, the running back, has been great out of the backfield. In the running game, he's been excellent. But those aren't my questions ever. It's still the O-line. It's still the defense for Cincy's not great. Denver, on the other hand, they're on the verge of a playoff berth themselves.
They have a lot.
So where Cindy needs to win, and they need a lot of help, Denver can win their way in.
Yep.
Bo Nix looked good all year. Made some rookie mistakes, but to be expected.
He's rookie.
Exactly. They've been excellent. Tough loss against the Chargers last week, but show they can play on the road. D's legit all year. That's where we are heading in this game.
You know what? I'm going to go upset here. I'm going to go Denver, cover win.
We're in full agreement.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in that. Patrick Surtain, the Broncos cornerback, one of the best. I don't think he's going to shut down Chase, but the point is he will offer somewhat of a resistance. I think Denver, outside of that, is better team overall. I'm with Denver.
Okay, well, rounding out the night, or actually, are we heading into Sunday now?
Saturday night.
I can't keep track.
We got a lot of football going on.
We're heading to a bowl game in just a little bit.
Yeah,
so we're
a lot going on here.
Anyway, we have the LA Rams. They are 6.5-point favorites over Arizona.
So the LA Rams, they've totally turned their season around. And I don't think it's a coincidence since their offensive weapons have all been healthy. Kupp, Nacua, Kyren Williams, Stafford, team's been completely different. Won 5 of the last 6. Top the NFC West. They win this week. They're almost a lock to win the division. One thing I will say about the Rams as well that I've liked, as much as we talk about the offense, they've shown an ability to win games when they haven't clicked. So the Jets, low-scoring affair Monday night a few weeks ago, didn't score a lot of points. Rainy affair, won that as well. They're showing a resiliency. Not shocking. McVay's a good coach. Arizona's gone the other way. They looked good early in the year, lost 4 or 5, following the bye, not going to make the playoffs. Interesting, Kyler Murray actually admitted that his connection with Marvin Harrison Jr., the star rookie receiver, is just not where it should be.
Nope.
Arizona missing both starting tackles, never a good thing. Connor, the star running back, injured but expected to play. Arizona did beat LA early in the year, but the teams were in different places then. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, despite it being a 6.5-point spread, I'm going to give it to the Rams here. I'm going to say Rams cover win.
Yeah, I don't like laying the points in division match. I'm not shocked if Arizona covers, but I do not see Arizona winning this game, and I'm with you. I'm going to lay the points, and I think this is a great spot for Mr. NKR out there. Tease, parlay, Rams. I'd be shocked if they lose that game. I would put them to win in many permutations of NFL bets this weekend.
All right, now on to the Sunday afternoon blitz. We're kicking it off with Buffalo. They are 10-point favorites over JETS, the Jets.
So Buffalo's now kind of in an interesting situation because they don't really have much to play for.
Nope.
Because the Chiefs won on Christmas Day. Home field out. They've already won the AFC East.
Yep.
I would think this, though. I'm thinking, what is their motivation? They didn't play great against New England last week. You're probably going to see them bench people next week. I'm going to guess this is the last week that you see a full complement because they have to play week 1 of the playoffs.
Okay.
They're not going to want to take 2 weeks off prior. That's shown to not be good.
Sure.
I think you're going to see a full effort out of them. The Jets offense has definitely played better recently until Sunday versus the Rams, kind of subpar. Jets motivation level and a lot of questionable on the injury report. Rodgers, Sauce Gardner, Devontae Adams, Quinnen Williams, some of their best players, assuming they play. But this is kind of a tough one from that perspective because we don't know what their motivation is now.
Yeah, I hate the Jets. 10 points is just too much for me. I'm going to say the Jets cover and Buffalo wins.
Yeah, I'll agree with you here. I think it's a comfortable win for Buffalo as well. Another parlay tease opportunity, no doubt. Watch this closer to game time because obviously if Rodgers doesn't play, that changes anything.
Sure.
Buffalo D has given up points a year. I'm with you. 10 points, Jets cover, but Buffalo wins easily.
All right. Indianapolis, they are 7.5-point favorites at the G-Men.
So the G-Men, as we all know, are on an 85-game losing streak. And the reason I say that is because if you're going to...
Joe White, 85?
Yeah, you're gonna need to be that way to basically watch this game. Giants are winless at home. Crazy story, and I need to share this because it's amazing. I put my name on a season ticket list back when I was a teenager because at the time it was like 30 plus years in waiting. The tickets were being offered for under $10.
So 1787?
1612 actually.
Mm-hmm.
You can get for under $10, which is crazy. Giants injuries everywhere. Neighbors and Tracy. To have a shot, they look like they will play. Okay. The immortal Drew Lock is back in a QB. I'm begging the G-Men for the Whitey boys, for Ben, for myself.
You just want them to lose now at this point.
For the Shrimpers boys. I never wanted to be in this position, but yes, because there's no good that comes of winning this game. Indy's still technically alive.
Okay.
They need a lot of help, but the game does mean something. But Anthony Richardson, the QB, has not practiced all week as of this is Saturday morning. Don't know he's going to play. Could be jumping Joe Flacco for one last hurrah.
I love Jumpin' Joe. I hope they give it to him.
So anyway, kind of an ugly game. Not kind of an ugly game, a very ugly game. So
I think that your G-Men make you stress and they cover, but I think Indy wins.
I agree. They're going to piss me off
Exactly.
And make us sweat. That is a great synopsis. G-Men do enough to get me angry. Indy wins. Yep. Good call. Like that.
All right. Tampa, 8-point favorites over Carolina.
So Carolina, my best calls last week. Upset win over Arizona. They've been playing hard. They've been in most games. Nice win over Arizona. Ended their season. On a bad note, though, Chuba Hubbard, their star running back, he was placed on IR. So he's going to miss. They're pretty banged up at the running back position right now, and they need their run game to function. Defense is not great. They've given up most points in the NFL, but they have played hard down the stretch, no doubt. Tampa, season and division on the line. A bad loss at Dallas last Sunday night. I think they're better than that, but a tough loss. Cade Otton, the tight end, was supposed to be back. He's not going to be. Antoine Winfield out. Desperate game for Tampa. That's where we're at.
I think Tampa bounces back with a win here, but I think that Carolina will cover.
I'm going to take Tampa all the way. I don't love the 8. So once again, this is a Ronnie week. Teasing them down to 2, parlay the win. I don't see any way Tampa Bay loses this game. I think Bucky Irving goes nuts on Carolina. Give me Tampa to cover and win.
All right. Next up, Vegas. They are 1.5-point favorites at New Orleans. This is going to be a riveting game, huh?
Yeah. Well, this is so being that it's bowl season and we're going to a bowl game later today, this we'll call the brutal bowl because this is
Fair.
awful. New Orleans, fun place, NOLA, French Quarter, all of it, fun place to drink.
He's saying go out in New Orleans and just
Drink a
ignore
lot.
the game.
If you're going to watch this game, you need to be blacked out by at least the end of the first quarter. Funny note about this, Vegas goes and wins last week, which as a G-Men fan, we're all happy about.
Yep.
The fans are furious that they won because that knocks them out of, and they need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Out of the teams that are vying for the number one pick, Vegas are like the Giants are the two teams who really desperately need a QB. They might have screwed themselves. Aiden O'Connell's back at QB. For New Orleans, it's disaster area. They got demolished by Green Bay on Monday night. Spencer Rattler is back in at quarterback. They're not going to rattle anybody's cages. Kamara, Carr, Olave probably out. Bad game.
Raiders cover win.
I honestly think this because the Raiders won now. There's not as much of a we have to.
Well,
they're
quick
probably
question
not.
for you. Quick question:
Yeah.
If the Raiders lose,
Yep.
and if the Giants win, does that bring them back to even or?
You'll never know because if that happens and you jinx this, you won't see another podcast.
Ooh, sorry.
Yeah, you will JTS if that happens.
Shit for the viewers.
But there's a lot of combinations.
Yeah.
I honestly, it will change as a schedule. It's not concrete, but
You hate me right now for putting that out into the
yeah,
universe.
because I have a feeling this is going to make me sweat. So there is a chance, but not likely. So
All right,
let's
okay.
be done with this.
Well, I picked the Raiders to win.
So did I.
So, all
Carry
right,
on.
moving
Oh,
on.
sorry. Quickly, because that onus is off of them, that the pressure's off. Because of that, I actually think they want to play for Pierce. I do think they like him. He probably won't be back as coach. So
Okay. Moving on. Tennessee, 1-point favorite at Jacksonville.
Brutal Bowl Part 2 for our French fans out there. What a disaster. Okay, Tennessee, let's be quick here. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, a little tired for Christmas, didn't play his best game. He's back at QB. The D is still decent, but they're really banged up. Tony Pollard, the most important offensive player at running back. He's questionable. I don't really know if he wants to play. Jacksonville, Big Mac Jones back at QB. You know they're brutal. I will say this: he actually has had a pretty decent connection with the rookie Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
They've made some plays in the passing game.
Tennessee, cover win. Rudolph, it's still the Christmas season. Got to give it to Rudolph.
There's no please save your shillings on this. I mean, this is crazy. But the one thing I can point to right now is that I think Jones and Thomas can make a play or two that Tennessee can't. Give me a Jacksonville in a disaster of a game.
Next up, we have Greg's favorite game. He wants both of these teams to win. I'm clearly kidding. We have the Philadelphia Eagles. They are 7.5-point favorite at the Dallas Cowgirls.
Speaking of bowls, we can call this the JTS Bowl because I hope they both JTS. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Dallas. Dallas has actually played hard down the stretch. I'm of the belief they probably saved McCarthy's job. They beat Tampa. They actually have played well. But I do wonder now, is now are they done though? Because playoffs are out. CeeDee Lamb, they place an IR for the rest of the year. He's had a nagging injury. That makes now 5 Pro Bowlers out. Zach Martin, Prescott, Lawrence Diggs, etc. I just wonder if they have any left. Philly, on the other hand, brutal loss versus Washington last week. Very impactful. Could have knocked out home field. Jalen Hurts knocked out with a concussion. He will not play. Kenny Pickett will be in.
Okay.
But we'll say that the offense still moved all right with Pickett, though.
Mm-hmm.
Top D in the league, I think, minus last week that got gouged. Sparkly looking for the record. That's what we're looking at.
I'm going to say Eagles cover and win.
I do too, and I actually have been impressed with Dallas the way they've played, but I just wonder, was that the last hurrah last week?
I think so.
With CeeDee Lamb out,
Yep.
Changes everything.
Yep.
Give me Philly.
All right. Next up, Miami. They are 6.5-point favorites at Deb Watson's Cleveland Browns.
Speaking of Deb Watson, very important news out of Cleveland. So they basically restructured Watson's contract. So what they're doing is trying to save more immediate money. It looks like he will be back next year, but they're doing this to kind of lessen later.
Okay.
They're probably going to bring in competition next year. With that being said, Dorian Thompson-Robinson will be at QB instead of Deb Watson this week. Might as well be Dora the Explorer the way he played last week. Interesting about this, Cleveland, Ohio, late December, 62 degrees on Sunday.
Wow.
Playing into Miami's favor, but Miami, basically their whole wide receiver room and offense in general, Tua should play, they're all questionable. Nice win versus San Fran at home last week. Who the heck knows what if they care, if they play? I don't know. Tough game.
Miami, cover win.
I'm going to go Cleveland all the way here just because I do wonder if Tyreek Hill decides to sit it out, if Waddle. I have no confidence in this game, but that's why I don't want to lay points. I'll take Cleveland to play for a win and beat Miami.
Okay. Minnesota, 1.5-point favorite over Green Bay. I'm surprised that Green Bay is the underdog here.
Well, so if you look historically, what a spread tells you, there's usually 3 points that are given to the home team. Like when you set a spread.
Sure.
So which means the odds makers believe Green Bay
is
on an
the
even
better
field
team.
is a 1.5
right.
favorite over Minnesota.
Okay.
It is on Minnesota. Yep. It's on the turf. Division and home field now on the line. People forget they're 12-2, myself and Rel. Green Bay. So interesting about Minnesota. Nice win at Seattle last week. Nice comeback win. At Seattle 2 weeks ago, Green Bay's the same thing, and they destroyed Minnesota. Seattle. It was not close. Shut out New Orleans Monday night. Right now, at this moment, they actually look like the most complete team. I think they can win the most ways of anyone right now. That's what you're looking at.
I think Green Bay is sneakily making their way. So I'm going to continue to give it to Green Bay. I'm going to say cover and win.
Totally agree. They're just trending upwards.
They're just flying under the radar.
Yeah, because they had some early losses. They're out of the race, but they're peaking at the right time. Yeah. I think Green Bay is a monster. I'm with you. Green Bay win outright over Minnesota. And I like Minnesota. That's not a cut on them either. I'm feeling that good about Green Bay.
Okay, well, on to Sunday night in the nation's capital where we have Washington. They are 3.5-point favorites versus Atlanta.
So we'll start with Atlanta. Michael Penix boosting the arm to the offense. Now let's add one caveat. This was the G-men. This is like playing 7-man high school defense out in the Midwest. Okay. But Penix did look good, made some plays, rejuvenated. They're playing for the division and their playoff lives, basically. So Tampa's lurking game behind, but Atlanta basically needs to win. Washington, what can you say? Jaden Daniels, amazing last week. 5 touchdowns and a huge comeback versus Philly. He had help. Hurts went knocked out, but doesn't change the fact that Daniels was awesome. That offense, there's a new era down in Washington. They can clinch a playoff berth with a win, which is a great job for another team I can't stand. But that's what we're looking at.
All right. I'm going to say that Washington cover win.
I think a very close game. I'm going to give the edge to Daniels, make an extra player or two. But I do think Atlanta will compete. I think they can do some things against the Washington defense, which does not look great at all to me. But I think Washington pulls it out. Atlanta covers, Washington wins.
All right. Capping the week off on Monday night in San Francisco. Greg forgot to put the spread here. And I know that they're playing Detroit.
3.5-point favorites.
All right. So we have San Francisco 49ers, 3.5-point favorites over the Detroit Lions.
So San Fran, well documented, they're just ravaged injury-wise. War of attrition. They ran out of bodies. They struggled against Miami last week. They're just beat up. Detroit, plus injuries as well, especially on the defensive side, but the offense still rolled against Chicago. They're still going to put up a lot of points. I look at this game, there's one side of the ball that is by far the best. That is the Detroit offense heading into this game.
All right. I am going to say that Detroit covers, San Fran wins.
Think Detroit, sorry, say that again. Detroit, did we get that right? Detroit 3.5-point favorites over San Fran.
Well, you didn't say it that way.
Oh, come on, Holy. Detroit.
You didn't write it down.
Oh, come on.
Jeez.
So would you like to?
I guess I'll take it back. I'm going to say Detroit. San Fran covers, Detroit wins.
Because I thought that's what, okay.
Well, anyway.
So
wheels are coming off.
We're in a rut. We're going down to Orlando shortly. We got football to see. But on a serious note, I think Detroit's defensive injuries will unfortunately catch up to them eventually. I don't think it's this week. I think the offense scores enough. Detroit cover win. I think they win handily.
All right. Well, we're going to mix things up a little bit. Normally, it's time for the paper bag, but Greg forgot to make the paper bag this week.
Oh,
so
hold on.
I was going to give you a napkin.
Hold on.
No.
No.
He's proving me
No,
wrong. Okay.
no.
So
Hold on.
stand by. I don't think this
Stand by.
is going to be any shock or surprise
This is a big one.
for anyone out there who the recipient of the paper bag is. I mean, Greg's been hating on them, loving on them all year. They've been frustrating the heck out of him. I mean, he's taking forever to come back up the stairs with the paper bag. I think we could have just gone with the napkins, but whatever.
The paper bag has
Without
made it.
further ado, he travels with this thing. I think he sleeps with it under his pillow. I mean, you know, he should just wear it full time because
It's made its way down
the
to
New York
Florida.
Giants.
All right, this is number 6.
All right.
6th time this year. I stopped crossing out. It's no point in making a new one. New Orleans tried hard getting shut out by Green Bay, but the G-men, Drew Lock, 2 pick sixes. A rookie quarterback got blasted, 70,000 game losing streak. We got to give a big shout to Giants because we've now had 2 seasons of the Breaking It Down podcast. We're not even done with the year. And for the 2nd year in a row, they are back-to-back paper bag champions.
Congratulations, G-Men.
Good job, G-men. Yeah, and if they win a game on Sunday and mess up the top pick and get a quarterback, which it might be Cam Ward, who we're going to see in a few hours,
Yeah.
you better settle down. So there it is.
All right. Well, without further ado, we've kind of told you what we're doing for our weekend plans, but do you want to add a little bit more color?
Yeah, actually, quick note, by the way, we purposely did not we've been doing the best and worst team rankings just because this week's crazy. We had games on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm just going to give a quick worst and best team. We obviously the worst team. I think we both agree.
We just showed you with the paper
Jimmy.
bag.
I am actually going to go with a 5-loss team as my best team right now. I do think
Really?
right now the Green Bay Packers look the best to me. I think that's for real. They won a playoff game on the road last year, almost beat San Fran. I'm taking that as my number 1 team today.
I'll agree with you. We'll end the podcast on
Wow.
a point of agreement.
So we're going to
I'm going to give the love to Jordan Love.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So, well, this is a good thing. Yeah, we're going to be huge football weekend across the day. NFL, we're heading down to the bowl game shortly, which should be a blast. Iowa State, Miami, and how it relates to NFL, as we said. Cam Ward, who will be one of the top, probably one of the top 2 picks. He's going to be playing for Miami. Can't wait to see him. Should be a great game. And we're going to enjoy down in Florida, sunny football weekend. And that's
I'm excited. Let's
fun.
head on out. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate you as always. And we'll be doing some quick hits probably from the game. So tune in for that later on today.
Yeah, good call. We're going to, it's the college playoffs coming. We're going to have that coming out on Monday. For those who we don't see again in advance, Happy New Year, because that's on the way. And let's finish the year on a great note. Let's go bowling down in Orlando.
All right. Happy football, everyone.
Happy football.